Alex. How are you after our night together?
Alex, you know this bundle of fun?
Alex is just fine, Lieutenant. Eileen, if you want someone to break into Fort Knox, Lieutenant Columbo's your man.
Welcome to episode 60 of the Columbo podcast, where these bundles of fun have been up all night together, planning on how to break into Fort Knox.
I think the best strategy was garbage trucks, like in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yep, that's what we're going with.
I think that movie proved it's a foolproof plan.
Mm-hmm. That was an excellent movie.
I like that movie very much.
Not entirely similar to this week's offering on the Columbo podcast, however.
Well, I think it'll be quite a good podcast.
I hope it will. The subject matter, however.
I quite liked it.
Controversial, this.
I know I'll be getting hate mail and stuff, but I thought it was a very enjoyable hour and a half's worth of television.
We've chatted about this earlier in the day, and we agree in many aspects of it. I think what we disagree on is that, in my view, it's not a good Columbo episode. I have no issue with the general plot, the acting, etc., and it would have been fine if it wasn't a Columbo episode. But for me, as a fan, sitting down to watch Columbo, this is not what I'm after.
I think that's fair enough, but I also think it can be quite interesting to see a character that you know and love being used in a different way if they get the story right.
Yeah. We'll chat more as we go through, but we know the general consensus is that it's not a beloved episode, and I think in fairness that people they don't like change, and I'm for one hold my hands up to that when it comes to Columbo and TV shows. You get familiar with a concept and a structure, and in fact I think it was you earlier today who offered the suggestion that at this point this isn't a weekly episode where you can forgive a little blip. This is irregular now, and they're not as often. So if you're waiting, rubbing your hands at the prospect of a new Columbo, and you're served up this, and you're not going to see one for a while, you're not going to be too happy.
Well, you say that, but there are a good 50 odd episodes that already exist that are repeated ad nauseum on the television. You could go and watch that you love already.
That's true, although back in the day, not so much, yeah.
I just think that if they hadn't done this, you might have folk when it was finished saying, it would have been interesting to see how Columbo handled something a little bit different, or if this episode had been made in a different way. I wonder how that would have gone if Columbo had been in it.
In that case, I would have preferred maybe a spin-off.
Or a crossover.
Or something. And in fact, I thought that that's perhaps what they were trying to do. Some of the other cops, I had the feel that perhaps they were trying to, like some sort of backdoor pilot, where they were trying to promote or gauge the reaction to a potential, Andy and Mulrooney.
Yeah, because you had a lot of stuff, and we'll come to it, where it's not Columbo that's driving it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, quite interesting.
The other thing that I noted, I've got down here, this is Columbo does 24 with a slice of Silence of the Lambs thrown in. Okay,
you see a bit of Silence of the Lambs in there?
Oh, of course.
From Columbo?
No, not from Columbo, but the...
Oh, you mean the episode? The
episode, yes.
Oh, you're talking about Columbo the show rather than Columbo the detective.
Yes, I'm talking this episode.
Right,
is
okay.
24 meets Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You've got a ticking clock on the screen. You've got the weirdo killer with certainly a number of issues.
Oh, yeah.
Many issues.
Certainly has.
Quite creepy at some points as well. I would have thought that perhaps a younger child or...
Well, you say that my 6-year-old was in the room when I was watching this, and I was quite concerned at a couple of bits because it was quite dicey and close to the edge.
Yeah. It's not your usual Columbo cartoon villain, as it were.
Yeah.
Guys with scalpels and things like that. It's
I did get a bit cartoony when you started waving it in circles and grinning maniacally.
Yeah, putting the lipstick on. We'll talk about that when
we'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah. Anything you want to say before we begin?
I do, actually, because we've mentioned at the end of the last few episodes, and I wanted to bring up to the beginning for the folk who skip my chat at the end of the episodes. We're hoping to do a special episode featuring questions and answers from the audience, maybe in about 10 weeks' time, so we've got plenty of time to build these up, so even if you're listening to this a wee bit behind, it's still okay to send in questions. We thought it would be interesting to put together a show where we address any questions you might have, either about the podcast or about Columbo, and just look at those for however long it takes to get through them. But if you want to tweet us or get us on Facebook at the usual spots, or find us on columbopodcast.com, or drop an email, whatever suits you, and we'll look to respond to those questions.
Yep, we will. We've had a number of DMs actually from people already.
Yeah,
so
Twitter DMs.
If you don't want to make it public, if you want to keep it a secret, then by all means feel free to do that.
Absolutely. I think we need to follow you, so if you want to do it that way, you might need to ask if we're not already following you on Twitter.
Shall we begin?
Well, yeah, I would say in the usual way.
Which is?
Via summary.
Let's have it then.
In No Time to Die, Columbo attends the wedding of his nephew, Detective Andy Parma, to Melissa Hayes. After a great reception, the newly married couple retire to their suite. As Parma showers, Melissa is abducted by an obsessed fan who intends to kill her after forcing her to participate in a fake wedding ceremony. Columbo, Parma, and the rest of the LAPD team in attendance at the reception get to work immediately, looking to find Melissa. With time of the essence, Columbo and his team must act fast to stand a chance of preventing a murder. Leads point them in more than one direction, but with a dramatic finale in store and no suspect to engage with, will Columbo's techniques produce the right outcome?
Thank you, Ian, for that engaging summary.
Thank you.
Engagement, wedding.
It's two separate things, really, isn't it?
Yeah. We start at the wedding reception in a hotel. The soundtrack is I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. The bride and groom, Melissa and Detective Andy Parma, as mentioned by yourself, are dancing as a photographer takes some snaps.
We get a caption on the screen.
Which is?
Sunday, 9:35pm.
Very 24-ish.
They could have done maybe with, thinking back to season 1, we talked about the soundtrack to Columbo being a typewriter. Maybe having that sound come back as a wee bit of a retro touch when the captions came up, but we did not get that.
We didn't. We see Columbo in a tux.
Again, yeah.
Yes, several times we've noted that. He's a guest. He is smiling with a woman, and I suppose we're meant to think, is this Mrs. Columbo he's with?
Suspect we are meant to think that.
Yeah, but no. It's Mrs. Hayes, the mother of the bride.
He tells her it reminds him of his own wedding reception.
Yes.
When he held Mrs. Columbo in his arms and she felt as what, light as a moonbeam, something like that.
Yeah. So he refers to his wife as Mrs. Columbo to friends and family.
At all times.
She's not there. Where is she?
She is dealing with a family health issue in Chicago, I think.
Her mother was a hip or skateboarding or something like that.
That's what he said. It could just be that she doesn't exist.
Yeah, but surely these friends and family would know if
Mrs. Hayes isn't related to him. She's just marrying in.
Yeah, an odd way to start or to be introduced, to make yourself known is just to lie about having a wife.
He does it all the time.
Maybe not to new family.
Maybe he's going round the reception telling everyone a different story for why she's not there.
Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't tell her there was a wedding reception. She thinks he's working.
Alex, the photographer, sits down and we find out that he himself discovered Melissa as a model on a beach in Malibu, and that Columbo is the uncle of the groom, Andy.
We've seen the beach in Malibu, haven't we?
We have. It was murder.
Yes, that's what happened.
Sheldon Hayes, the father of the bride, sits down just as Mrs. Hayes takes a turn for the worse and she needs to retire for the evening. So they say their goodbyes to the happy couple and they head upstairs.
Yeah, she says she's proud of them, but it's past her bedtime and her medication's such a nuisance and she's away.
Columbo is then pulled onto the dance floor by Melissa as two cop buddies of Andy's joke about kidnapping the bride on her wedding night. Apparently, that's what they do.
I suspect they're just putting the noise up, aren't they?
Yeah. But he seems to believe or think that perhaps it might be genuine.
Well, he certainly thinks they're capable, or at least he thinks Mulroney is capable.
Yeah. Mulroney sounds like a bit of a chancer.
He sounds like a police version of that young man in Columbo Goes to College. The blonde-haired one, whose name I forget right now.
Yeah. All japes and nonsense and tomfoolery.
Yes.
We see on the screen now that it's 10:40 p.m.
Absolutely. The father of the bride's giving his speech.
Toast the couple before Columbo says a few words, and the evening winds down with the couple being sung out of the reception room up to their bedroom.
Yep, they're in a lift, heading up to the Empire Suite. Oh, before they go in the lift, though, the photographer wants a picture with Melissa.
Yes.
So Andy obliges and takes that picture. I think he takes about half a dozen of them.
Yeah. And that will become important later in the episode.
It's half an hour later.
It is. And they're in the honeymoon suite.
There must be a lot of floors up if it's taking them half an hour to go up a lift.
Who knows what they got up to in the lift. Andy showers as Melissa begins getting undressed.
They seem genuinely happy. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of tension here. It's nothing.
No?
There's no foreboding. At this point of a Columbo episode, you're looking for the tension. Who's going to kill who?
Yep, nothing.
No problems.
No. But on exiting the bathroom, he is surprised to find the suite empty.
Before he goes out, he spots a gift.
Yeah, that didn't really...
I think she genuinely just left him the gift in the bathroom.
The first time you see that, you think, that'll be important. And then Columbo handles it later and you think, what's this? Never mentioned again.
Yeah, no, I think it just is what it appears to be. I thought it was going to knock him out or something.
Yeah, that's poor writing, isn't it, really?
It's like, have you seen, is it the Joker in Batman who's got the flower and he squeezes the puff and it knocks the person out? I thought about that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I don't know if that's real.
No.
Okay, that would why it's not that then.
Correct. So, yeah, he comes out and a little puzzled at first. He assumes that Detective Mulrooney, the best man, I think, has come good on his threat. Now, I would have assumed, she's popped down, she's went next door to see her parent, or down to see her parents, she's somewhere else in the hotel, but he immediately seems quite worried. I wouldn't appear worried at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
All your friends and family in a hotel.
But she's just told him to get ready.
Maybe she's forgot something, maybe she's left something. I would have assumed, she must have, there's something important, or she needs to say goodbye to one of the guests, perhaps, that are leaving and not staying overnight.
Yeah, or check on her mother, maybe. Or something like that.
I'd be at least half an hour before I start to get worried.
Yeah, maybe. He phones down to the bar looking for Mulrooney.
Yeah, the barman gets him on the phone, and Mulrooney, who is wooing a young lady, denies all knowledge of, or any involvement in...
Yeah, and Andy accepts that. He's not going to push the issue. Obviously didn't take it that seriously.
After he hangs up, he turns around and he notices a cotton wool bud.
Well, first of all, he spots her shoe and he thinks she's hiding under the bed, which would be weird.
Yep. Yeah, why would you be hiding? Catch me.
Well, he's phoning somebody.
Yes. He then notices this piece of cotton wool.
Yeah.
And he sniffs it and obviously smells something on it, which he doesn't like.
No.
Andy was played by Thomas Calabro, born in 1959. He is best known for his roles in Melrose Place, Dream Street, and he's been in Glee recently. But Melrose Place, he's been in hundreds of episodes, so that's where most people will be aware of him from.
That was probably quite a big show at that time, was it?
Yes. He was one of the original cast, and then I think there was a reboot, or it stopped for a number of years and came back, I think, and he was also in the return.
Okay.
We're now informed it is Monday, 12:05 a.m.
For some reason, Columbo's brought his raincoat to the wedding and is now wearing it over his tux.
He can't act like a cop unless he's wearing this. That's my theory.
But he wouldn't be expecting to act like a cop.
A good cop always expects to act like a cop. Weddings are notorious for nonsense. Fisticuffs, fallout, stabbings. Maybe that's just in Glasgow. But where a lot of alcohol is involved in different parties and strangers.
Things can happen.
Murder on the dance floor.
He's talking down the corridor to Andy. Now, do you think Andy's called him to come, or do you think he just sees him there?
I think Andy must have called him.
Then why did he not tell him what the reason for him to come was?
It's not the type of thing, really, is it, that you're going to say, Uncle Frank.
I think you'd call him Uncle Lieutenant.
Could do. He's not going to pick up the phone and say, can you come up? I've got cotton wool with chloroform on it and my wife's been kidnapped.
Yeah. I suppose he says, can you come up?
Yeah.
And Columbo obviously.
Although you would say, can you come up immediately? This is an emergency, please.
Yeah.
There's a problem. But Columbo, as he's talking, obviously hasn't been told that.
No, he's got no awareness. He's quite amiable. He's in a good mood.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
He maybe thinks he needs something, Go out and get me some towels or whatever else you might need.
He goes into the room, Columbo does, and is given the cotton wool that smells of chloroform, and Andy tells him that Melissa is gone and that she must have been taken in her underwear because none of her clothes are missing.
Columbo switches immediately to cop mode.
You would do.
Sobers up.
And Andy confirms that no valuables have been taken, and he explains what happened in terms of him going into the shower and then coming out.
Columbo immediately realises that the kidnapper could not have removed her through the corridors of the hotel.
He checks the stairs and he finds one of her shoes on the staircase. Andy's at the top or on the floor level. Columbo walks down a little bit and he finds one of the shoes. What does he do?
He hides it in his pocket.
Yeah. I'm assuming that he doesn't want to worry Andy, but
he's already worried.
He's already worried. He's already found chloroform. So he knows that something dodgy has happened here.
Yeah, he'd be less worried if he had something to go in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how embarrassing would it be if Columbo, he bangs into him and Columbo drops a shoe from his jacket? It's like, what are you doing here?
That's a bit weird,
yeah,
isn't it?
that's why you get one of her shoes on your person. Well, you see.
Why is he touching the shoe? There's more to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Not following procedure.
Not for the last time in this episode does Columbo not play by the rules, and in fact, some of his behaviour, his professionalism, will be called into question.
I think he jeopardises the investigation, quite frankly.
Yeah. We'll discuss that more, I think.
Yeah. They return to the hotel room.
They do. Back in the suite, Columbo outlines some potential motives.
It seems like Melissa's dad has plenty of money, so whoever did this could have done it for ransom. On the other hand, you being a cop, it could involve you. It could have been revenge.
Revenge?
You put some guys behind bars, used a gun on a couple of them. Somebody might want to get even.
You got a cigarette?
I thought you gave them up.
I did. You got one?
Got these.
Thanks. Hell of a wedding.
Get on the phone and call Sergeant Goodman. Tell him I'd like him in on this. And Mulroney. Goodman's big on kidnapping. Have him call the lab, get somebody over here to dust for prints. Ask him to lay on the phone tap. I'll clear it with the hotel. You guys go over everything you know. I'm gonna take a look outside that fire escape. Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
Hang in there. We'll find her.
Yeah, dead or alive.
Yeah. Goodman, he's big into his kidnapping, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done it for work. He maybe just
Loves
likes it.
Yeah. Can't get enough of it. Where does Columbo go from here?
Well, he's going to put his team together, so he's away down to that stairwell to see where it leads. And he's asked Andy to make these phone calls and put the team together.
Yeah. Columbo goes out to the alley.
Yeah, and locks himself out, it seems.
He knocks on the door of the back door of a restaurant, which is in the building, the block.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was part of the hotel or if it was separate. I think it must have been separate.
I think it's separate, yeah. And who does he speak with?
It's Bill Bailey.
Yeah, doesn't look like Bill Bailey that we know.
No, he's had his haircut, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not Bill Bailey, who is made famous in song either.
Yes. I've never heard of that Bill Bailey.
No, but Bill Bailey has.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Bill Bailey is the cleaner in this restaurant.
Yeah, it's hilariously inept though, isn't he? Because he's been doing it for over 2 hours and it's still filthy.
Yeah, and he's eating some lettuce. He started at 10 p.m. and he tells Columbo that he saw an indistinct white van back into the alley after 11 p.m, but he did not see the driver, unfortunately.
That's right, and he knows it left at exactly 11:30 because he was taking his watch off at the time and heard the doors but didn't look out.
Yes. From there we make our first trip to where?
The murder room.
Could be.
Could no be.
The kidnapper's room.
I just have it noted as a room. Melissa's there, she's restrained on a bed.
It's darkened. Quite eerie. She's on it's not a bed, it's a mattress on the ground.
And she has a flashback to what happened.
Which is?
We get the blanks kind of filled in from when Andy was in the shower. She is removing her dress and her shoes and her jewellery, and then the fellow in a surgical mask comes charging at her with a scalpel.
Quite, yeah.
But
Quite
she doesn't
creepy.
scream or anything.
No, you wouldn't. Of course you would.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be kicking and shouting, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Even with the scalpel, you'd think, well, hang on, my husband's right here, he can overpower this guy.
Yeah,
And then we come out the flashback and she greets.
she does. As you would do, tied up in a mattress.
Well, maybe. It's Monday at 1:15 a.m.
We're in the suite, and it's now a sort of busy makeshift crime headquarters.
Yeah, centre of operations, some kind of...
The cops have set up a wiretap on the phone in the room.
Very sort of retro technology. Is that what they still had in
A
those days?
reel-to-reel thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Columbo, Andy, Mulrooney, and Goodman, who is a kidnap specialist, or just the guy who's a big fan of kidnapping, they're talking. And they seem to agree that a ransom demand from Sheldon, who is the bride's father and a very rich man, is the most likely scenario here.
And if it is going to be ransom, it will come quickly.
Yes. Joe, the fingerprint guy, appears, and Columbo tells him to do the door and the fire escape area.
Yeah.
I doubt he'll have much luck in a hotel. I'm sure the cleaners don't every time they change the room wipe down the door frames.
I don't know if they're meant to or not, but it seems
Yeah, the
unlikely.
maids wouldn't. I wouldn't have thought
I think
mop
that-
down every area. There'll be hundreds of fingerprints all over that, and God knows what else.
If you've ever seen Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Nightmares programme, he takes the dark light, the black light
You
in.
do not want a dark light in a
It's
hotel.
like Jackson Pollock all over the wall.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, I stole that from a movie,
Okay, which movie?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
The other police think Columbo should talk to Mr. Hayes.
Which is a sensible suggestion, but Andy, he then tells Columbo about this guy called Wagner, the brother of a guy that he shot 3 years ago, and how he apparently swore revenge. Columbo wants to find out if the guy has been released from prison yet.
Yes.
We'll find
He
that
was
out
due
later.
out, I think, around about this time. The other thing they're thinking about is guests at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know who was there that he didn't recognise, and Andy says there were a lot of them because a lot of folk were Melissa's
Yeah.
friends, family, acquaintances, and he didn't know all of them.
Mm-hmm. At this point, we see Columbo note the aftershave in the bathroom, and this is at the first point you think, this will be important.
But it's never mentioned again. Columbo had seemed quite reluctant to talk to Sheldon Hayes, but Andy mentions that he had the full guest list for the wedding, and Columbo decides that they need to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's off to visit Mr. Hayes, not because he feels he needs to know, but because he has something Columbo wants.
Yeah. So Columbo firstly apologises about the time that he has arrived to an annoyed Sheldon, and he enters the room.
Yeah.
He breaks the bad news, and Sheldon understandably asks why he was not told earlier. And that is a very valid point. I would be raging if my daughter was kidnapped. And what does Columbo say? Oh, well, we didn't really have much. We perhaps thought we could wrap this up before breakfast.
And to be fair to Columbo, it's only an hour since Columbo found out. Looking at the times in the captions.
Yeah, an hour.
It's 1 hour. It's not... He's trying to assess the situation first.
Yeah, but sure, an hour. It's fine if the person was on the other side of the country or whatever, and you didn't have his contact details to hand. This guy is like a 2-minute walk from you. He's in the same hotel. He could provide vital information.
You know, I agree that he should have known sooner, but I just think maybe from Columbo's point of view, you want to get the lay of the land, find out what you can find out straight away when the trail's still warm, and then go to the guy with more than she's missing. Go to him and say, she's missing, but we have some leads, or...
I would partially agree with you. I think Columbo should be concentrating on availing himself of all the information, but he could have sent someone else to go and break the news.
He could have done.
In any case, Hayes states that he will pay whatever ransom demand there is. He doesn't want any histrionics from the cops. He wants this dealt with.
Yeah, he wants her back without any palaver, and he doesn't care if the guy gets away, obviously. He just wants her back, and that's the most important thing.
He goes to retrieve the guest list, and as he does, Columbo looks surprised by something that he sees in the family picture of the three Hayes.
Yeah, I didn't see what he was spotting.
No, I'm
He
trying to think.
Asks who took the photo,
Yep.
and it was Alex. And my note here was, I wonder if he thinks Alex was obsessed with her. Maybe he thinks Alex is taking her because he's been taking photos of her and he's been around her for so long.
Yeah, that's the obvious sort of red herring.
Yeah, he does follow that lead.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hayes comes back and he's got a warning for Columbo.
Which is...
He does not want Mrs. Hayes to find out. She's overdone it at the party. She's very unwell, and if you could just get Melissa back and tell her not to mention it, that would be perfect.
I understand his worry about his wife, but there's certain things. Don't tell the wife that Melissa fell and broke her leg. Don't tell that she has she's pregnant just now. We'll wait until her. But she's missing. That's the type of thing that.
Yeah, but then I suppose if you tell her after they get her back, then okay, she get worried about it, but she knows it ends okay because Melissa's there. If you tell her during the investigation, then she'll be panicking about what the worst case scenario could be.
We're in the corridor, and Goodman informs Columbo that Wagner was released from prison a few weeks ago, and that he's going to speak to his snitch about trying to locate him.
Yeah, Big Tubby.
Back in the suite, Columbo tells Andy and Mulrooney to go through the list that he's got from Sheldon and try and ID as many people as possible, and if they don't know who they are, trying to find out who they are from speaking to other people.
Yeah, I would have thought that Sheldon would have come with him to help with that task, given that he had the guest list.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an issue with just the whole approach here. Columbo, it's a little bit of Columbo magic. Now, yes, of course, look at the guest list, but there's massive leaps and assumptions here. Firstly, that the kidnapper was a guest at this wedding. All resources seem to be focused on this, and that's it turns out to be the correct method, but there's a lot of we'll come to other things in it, but yeah, the focus just on this. And
even with the rest of the scenario remaining intact, I would have thought the most obvious thing for this kidnapper to do would have been to pretend he was hotel staff.
Yeah.
And Columbo's plan would not have picked that up.
Exactly. And this is for want of a better phrase, a society wedding. Well publicised.
It's got a magazine deal.
So it's not like they wouldn't know where this wedding's taking place, when it's taking place. So I would not have assumed that one of the guests was the kidnapper at all.
No, absolutely not. But I suppose I can understand ruling them out.
Oh, you've got to do this. You've got to get through this.
The amount of resource that they put into this one. Well, it's not just this one avenue, because they look into Wagner as well.
That's true.
And Columbo follows up on Bailey as well. So they aren't just focusing all the resources on this, but they do put a lot of energy into it.
Yeah. Before we move on, I forgot to mention Donald Moffat, who played Sheldon Hayes. He was born in 1930. He has been in many films and TV shows. Murder, She Wrote, Mission Impossible, Logan's Run, Dallas, The West Wing, Clear and Present Danger, and he was also in Naked City, which we've mentioned before.
He's got that sort of statesman look to him, doesn't he?
Yeah. We return to the kidnap room.
The room.
Melissa hears a kettle and some other eerie noises.
Yeah, there's a chair moving, something's whirring, something's clicking,
Yeah.
footsteps.
Something's been sharpened.
There's a shadow in the crack under the door.
The door opens to reveal a man shining a torch in her face with some instructions.
Melissa, my love. When I remove the tape, don't scream. It would be useless to scream. This place is not near to anyone who could hear you. Only me. Behind the black paint is hollow glass building blocks. Like this. And these are excellent insulation against sound. Screaming would only strain your vocal cords. And it would irritate me. So please, my love, don't do it. Because if you irritate me, I may be tempted to use the blade on you. And I don't want to do that. Not yet.
Do you not think, if you were her, you might just try screaming anyway in case he's lying?
I would have been screaming from the moment I woke up, shouting, grabbing, punching, trying to get out there. Quite sinister at the end there, I don't want to use this, I don't want to use the blade. Not yet. It's like, oh no, this isn't good. I'm now going to, if you hadn't said that, I might have been quiet, but I'm going to start screaming now.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that I found quite comical and nonsensical was that he He brought this glass brick in to demonstrate what the bricks are like. It's like, why does he have that lying around? And you don't need to show, it's a brick like this, look. I'd be thinking...
It's definitely not fake. Those ones are not paper.
Yeah, that's not... Yes, I've not only bought one to show you.
It's cheaper that way.
Carrying about a glass
Cardboard
brick.
in front of them.
She'll fall for this one. This is a really, really thin apartment somewhere, and there's neighbours next door.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
He's made her tea.
He has. This guy's obviously a creepy whack job.
He's an obsessed stalker. He likes her adverts. He's been following her. I'm trying to think if we've had somebody like this on the show before.
What?
And Columbo. I'm trying to think if there's been another
No.
creepy stalker like this.
Oh, maybe a creepy stalker.
Someone who was
No.
a fan.
Nah.
I don't think there is. It's nothing
No.
like that.
Not at all. And see, this is again why I don't like this as a Columbo episode. Columbo's all based on the relationship between the smart but a smart guy who overestimates his abilities, and the relationship with Columbo, the cat and mouse. There's nothing here. This guy's a weirdo. He's a creep, but he's not smart. He's stupid.
Yeah. He has no logical motive.
No, exactly. There's no. We'll
There's
get to
nothing to follow.
the episode review here. You know, the motive and clues. It's not a Columbo episode, and I appreciate what you're saying, and it's good to hear your opinion, having been fortunate or unfortunate enough to see this for the first time. Because I think many, long-term Columbo fans, their perception, their judgment is clouded. But yeah, I can't.
I mean, I would say it's not a Columbo episode, but Columbo is good in it.
Peter Falk's good in it. Columbo isn't Columbo in this. He doesn't do what Columbo does.
But he's not doing Columbo's job. He's off duty. It's a family thing.
Precisely.
This is a personal issue.
It's Columbo not being Columbo. So what is the point in having a Columbo episode?
Well, he's being Columbo. He's just not Columbo at work. It's not the side of Columbo we normally see. But he's in a different situation now.
I mean, that is fair enough. Like I say, I don't entirely disagree. I don't dislike the story. I just don't like it as a Columbo story.
It's very watchable.
You think you could watch it? You would think of some of the classic Columbo episodes.
Yep.
You think you could watch this again?
Yeah. I would put this on before quite a few of the others, certainly of the more recent ones. Before Murder, Smoking Shadows, before Murder in Malibu.
Yeah. I'd put on, I won't tell you what I would put on, but I'd put on a lot of things before Malibu.
I put this one on before Columbo goes to the guillotine.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's interesting.
We move to the Arabian Nights sauna.
Yes.
Goodman's looking for his informant.
Tubby
Comfort, which sounds to me like some kind of skin cream for the morbidly obese.
So what I've noted here is that Goodman enters and he has changed into sauna attire, a towel.
Yeah.
This is a kidnapping, and we all know in kidnappings it's time is of the essence.
Yes.
I would not, and it's a colleague, so it's your colleague, and you know what cops are like when it's one of their own. Don't take too kindly to that sort of nonsense.
No.
I would not be going there getting changed and sitting down with him.
Hauling him out.
I'd be saying to the manager, get him out now. Say, you Tubby, out. Who is this guy? Be getting a few slaps if it came to it. I wouldn't encourage that, but in this case, that's what I would expect. If he doesn't play ball, what do you know? Tell me. Oh, you'll give me £300 and you'll get in your towel. No. Do you want to continue this lifestyle? Tell me what I need to know right now.
Yeah. Or are we letting folk know that you're a grass?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it appears that he's a grass, but everyone knows it. The guy in the cop walks in and the manager guy says, yeah, he's in there. Everyone knows that he's a grass. However, it transpires that Tubby has some information and he's going to get $300 if he can provide, or when he provides Wagner's address.
Of the taxpayers' money.
Mm-hmm. Columbo is seen out in his car. He's going somewhere.
He's looking for the photographer.
Alex Varick, was that his name?
Varick.
He arrives at his house and he gets him out of bed just after 2:30 a.m.
The exterior of the house looked familiar to me and I can't place it. I don't know if it was at 6 and I'm a detective or... I don't know, I could just be conflating two different things, but it did look like a familiar exterior.
Maybe something you've seen in another movie or TV show.
Possibly.
They have an odd conversation before he agrees to go through all the pictures.
I don't understand what was happening here. Was he sleeping while somebody else was developing the pictures upstairs in his house?
Yes.
That's a bit weird.
It is a bit weird. Although, yeah.
I suppose he works from home, but...
Yeah, and he's been, the whole day he's been taking the pictures and he's not going to develop. That's a fairly menial task for a junior. So he's got staff to develop, because it's a rush job, so it probably doesn't happen every week or every night.
Yeah, I suppose.
But what happens in this scene?
Well, we kind of flip back and forward between this scene and Melissa, don't we?
Do we?
Oh, Columbo wants to find out who was at the wedding. He needs to see these photos, and we know that the assistant is processing them. But before we get to see the photos, we go back to see Melissa.
Okay, she's in the kidnap room still. He has given her a lamp, water, and offers her some cookies.
Yeah, we get a better look at him now. He doesn't look familiar.
No?
But he's a young man.
So at this point, did you think that perhaps one of the cops or one of the guests or the photographer was...
Yeah, I thought it could still be the photographer. That was the main one. But then when this was happening at the same time as Columbo was with the photographer, that ruled it out.
Could have an accomplice.
Could have. He tells a creepy story.
Very creepy. At this point, I would definitely be screaming.
Yes.
Tell me this story.
He talks about his mother and his father, and how his father killed his mother when he was, I think, 8.
Mm-hmm.
He witnessed this, and then the father, seeing that he had witnessed this, killed himself, both by throat slashing. I have to admit, that'd be a really hard thing to just slash your own throat.
Oh, yeah, because that's not immediate, that you slice your own throat and you sort of drown in your own blood after.
But you'd be feeling it every inch of the way as soon as you started that.
Yeah, it was a nasty story. He also tells her that he'll be holding her until around 3 o'clock. And then, at 3:45, they will be getting married.
And then he's going to murder her. That's the implication. He doesn't state it at this point.
Yeah, he says that his mother is waiting for them in heaven. Again, more screaming on her part would be required here.
I would have thought just continual screaming at this point. The water that he gave her had a sleeping pill in it, so as much as she wants to stay alert, she drifts off.
You're right, we're back to Alex's house. It's now 4:45 a.m.
Yeah, and Alex has marked off the folk that he recognised in the photos using a special photography marking pen.
Yes, and he's confirmed that with all the photographs that he's taken, all guests should be covered.
Yes, and Columbo likes the little pen that he uses to mark the photographs.
Pencil, I think it was.
And he asks, I think it's a special tool anyway, he asks if he can take it, and he gets chucked a dozen of them.
Just to get out. Yeah, anything you want. Alex was played by Daniel Davis. He was born in 1945, and he is probably most famous for his role in The Nanny, but he's also been in Dynasty, Cheers, Texas, Star Trek Next Generation, and he was Tony nominated in 2000.
Impressive CV.
I have seen him in a number of TV shows, and I always thought that he was English.
Okay.
And looking into him, apparently that's his thing. He does a fantastic sort of upper class English accent, or Hollywood English accent, I should say.
And he's actually American.
He's American, yeah.
There you go. It's a bit like us. We pretend to be Scottish, but we're actually from Boston.
We are.
Columbo drives back and yawns as he does, and it made me think, was nobody drinking at this wedding? Are these guys half cut, running around trying to solve a crime and driving their cars places?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? We can chat about that just now. I suppose Columbo has not informed anyone else, any of his superiors, about this kidnapping.
Nope.
This high-profile kidnapping.
That's right, we're now almost 5 hours in.
Mm-hmm. He decided not to tell the father of the bride. He's trying to play a sort of lone wolf here.
He concealed evidence.
And, I mean, it's nonsense that his boss rightly chastises him for this. These are drunks at a wedding.
Yeah.
With personal ties to the case. So you can't necessarily expect them to act rationally or professionally even.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Columbo should have been calling in this immediately, and other cops should at least be getting involved, if not taking over the investigation.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand them thinking, oh, this has happened on our watch, we were here and this happened, we need to fix this. That's not the professional response.
No.
We flip back to the room, Melissa sleeps and the man leaves.
Well, we see a shot of a rundown, isolated house.
We get the
outside.
exterior.
Yeah, so we know that it is fairly out of the way.
He was probably telling the truth.
Yeah.
If she'd screamed, she'd be dead now.
In that case, what's the point in telling her that? I suppose maybe just to save himself any earache.
Yeah.
And we see the kidnapper leaving.
Yep.
Followed by a quick shot of Bailey leaving the restaurant.
I didn't even catch that. Did we?
That's disappointing because I thought maybe you would have thought Bailey was in some way involved.
No, I didn't think Bailey was involved. Maybe I did see it and just didn't note it down, but certainly it's not in my notes. I do have them flipping back up to the hotel where the team are marking the photos. And it appears to be 6:40 a.m, but it's just a momentary glimpse of that work.
It's now later, and they have got 7 unidentified people and different singles who brought partners. And this, at one point I was a bit confused. They kept doing these sums and maths about who they had and who's identified and who'd partners.
Yeah.
I just...
Columbo knew.
Columbo wants them to try and ID all the guests by speaking to the singles and asking them who they brought, if they brought anyone.
Yeah.
The phone goes.
Get Andy to answer. He's not quick to do that.
Who's on the phone?
It is either Tubby or someone instructed by Tubby.
And what do they tell Andy?
They want to speak to Goodman, and they have the location of Wagner.
Which is?
In a hotel. I can't remember the name of the hotel.
It was either the Barclay or the Berkeley. I think the Barclay.
Meanwhile, Columbo's on the phone to the captain at last.
Yes. What's he doing?
He wants extra men, and the captain's shaving.
And as we just briefly discussed there, the captain gets Columbo into a little bit of trouble for not briefing him sooner.
Yeah, well, quite rightly, yeah. The captain wants a full report, so Columbo's going to send Mulrooney in to the squad room while the rest of them go looking for Wagner.
We also hear from Tubby that Wagner is with a spaced out chickie.
Yeah. He was spotted by the receptionist at the hotel in the middle of the night.
And he saw a weapon on him.
Absolutely.
Columbo and Andy head for this hotel.
Quickly.
You would do.
Meanwhile,
in the kidnap room,
Melissa wakes up.
She's quite groggy.
Yep, she puts a lamp on, and there's a tray of food with a note and an audio tape to play.
The note looks like it was written by a 10-year-old.
It's a bit weird.
A particularly illiterate 10-year-old, I have to say.
Fair enough.
What does it say? Can you remember?
I can't remember all of it, but it's talking about the food. There's oil and vinegar for the food, and he's at work and he'll be back.
Yeah. Then, we have a very pitiful escape attempt. She basically just tries the door handle.
Yeah, it doesn't work, and she gets very frustrated.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not unlocked. What?
She plays the tape, and she hears some very unappealing music.
Yeah, and she's going to put a plan together.
Well, she starts to scrape away at the window paint to see if she can, see outside.
And as he said, they were opaque behind the paint.
On the street, we see Goodman, Columbo, and Andy arrive in a screeching car.
They're in a big hurry because they think that Melissa's in the hotel with Wagner.
The Barclay's a dump.
Oh, it's horrific.
They kick down Wagner's room door to find him on the bed.
Yep.
What does Andy do?
Andy gets himself right into Wagner's face and wants to know where his wife is.
Not just himself, he gets his gun right into Wagner's face.
Bit of police brutality.
Columbo stops him by doing what?
Can't remember.
By producing a woman from the bathroom.
Oh, well, the woman comes out from the bathroom, yes, and it's not Melissa.
It's not. She is a drug addict, a junkie.
Yeah, she just went with Wagner for a fix.
Yeah.
So they arrest him on drugs charges. Presumably also on weapons charges. If he's just out of prison, he wouldn't have been allowed to have a weapon.
Yeah.
So if there's a gun, they'll get done for that. So he's going back to jail for whatever the length of his probation was.
And not just is it not Melissa, this woman can provide an alibi at the time of the kidnapping.
Yeah, so that line of inquiry is now ended.
Did you recognise Wagner?
No.
Really?
Well...
Oh, come on. He's almost identical to the person we're going to talk about.
If you're going to say who I think... You say what you're going to say.
Well, it's Don Swayze. It's Patrick Swayze's brother.
Right.
Who is a near twin.
No, that wasn't what I was thinking of. Okay.
You'll need to watch this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's born in 1958, and I was going to list his credits, etc., but basically he's Patrick Swayze's brother.
Is he still acting?
Oh yeah. He's been in an awful lot of stuff to be fair, but he is Patrick Swayze's brother.
Is that why he's got roles, do you think, or is he a talented man?
Wouldn't like to say. Sure he's okay.
Who knows though? Yeah, there's no nepotism in Hollywood, is there?
No. Back
Back in the murder room, Melissa's scraped the paint off the windows and she's now going to work on the hinges.
Yeah, she's making little progress, but
she remembers a bit of high school science.
I didn't like this scene at all, where she basically talks for our benefit. She had a bit of exposition about her saying, if I remember correctly, vinegar and acid and this and that. Oh,
yeah, her mother has told her that vinegar gets rid of rust.
Yeah, I don't know.
So she adds vinegar to the rusty hinge, and and plans to later add oil to make it move.
So she's going to try and
take the hinges off.
Take the hinges off the door. We are now at LAPD, and it's a totally different LAPD than we've seen before.
New offices,
maybe
for a new generation.
Yep.
Columbo's there with Mulrooney.
Yes, the captain and Goodman as well, and Andy. In fact, they're all there. The guys are all there. In fact, before we chat about this scene, there are a number of actors which we can quickly go through.
Okay.
I've classed them all as the guys, the team, the
Fair
A-team.
Reasonable.
We have Dan Butler, who played Goodman. Born in 1954, he has been in Silence of the Lambs, Enemy of the State. He played Bulldog Briscoe in Frasier.
My recollection tells me that was another DJ.
Don't know.
I could be wrong.
Star Trek Voyager, Quantum Leap, and Roseanne.
All good shows.
Doug Savant played Mulrooney, born in 1964. He's now most famous for his role in The Desperate Housewives. Don't watch the show, so I'm not sure who he is.
Never saw that.
He was also in Melrose Place, 24, Maniac Cop 3, brilliant, Knots Landing, and I first saw him in Teen Wolf.
Not seen that. So
Yeah.
So you being a wolf?
The captain. He was certainly well known to myself. He was played by Lance Legault. Died in 2012, aged 77. He has been in Dallas, LA Law, Star Trek Next Generation, Werewolf, Magnum, Sledgehammer, Knight Rider, Dynasty, MacGyver, Stripes, The Dukes of Hazzard, Battlestar Galactica, and The Rockford Files. But to me, he'll always be Colonel Decker from the A-Team.
He's been in everything.
He's been in everything.
Literally every show that's ever been made.
It was a massive part of my childhood.
But on a personal level. They've made a breakthrough on the photographs.
Which is?
They've ruled out everybody except for one person who must therefore be the kidnapper.
Nonsense. Right, for a start, yes, to be able to get this, hundreds of people down to one, that's very convenient, isn't it?
It is, and obviously, yes, you would want to speak to that person.
Yeah.
But to say that's the guy, although to be fair, he is trying to avoid the camera, you can kind of see...
Yeah, but maybe he is just a fan. Maybe he's wedding crashing.
Maybe. I've seen that movie.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's not the worst.
Not the worst, no. Better than this.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Neither would I.
Yeah, anyway, yes, they found this one guy that they want to identify.
We find out that fingerprints have came up dry.
That's unfortunate.
As for Joe.
He'll be fired.
The captain then suggests that they blow up the picture that they have, one of the pictures of this unidentified man, and get it on all the news stations. Really? They've nothing here to suggest this guy is a killer.
No, they wouldn't. So they say they want to speak to this man in relation to their inquiries.
Sure, it's a little bit...
Well, it's an urgent case. The women could be getting danger right now.
Yeah, okay. Andy then has his say.
We got no ransom call. Nothing came through the hookup on the hotel phone. Forget ransom. I know what you guys have been thinking from the start, but you wouldn't say it to me. Well, let's not kid ourselves any longer. Weirdo, right? Okay, let's say this guy is some freak and he sees himself on TV. What might that make him do, Captain?
I don't like saying this to you, Andy, but what's he gonna do he wouldn't do anyway?
It might make him do it quicker. There's something else, Captain. Mrs. Hayes, Melissa's mother, she's a very sick woman. She knows nothing yet. I promised Mr. Hayes not to do it this way.
What else is there?
What time is it?
6 minutes after 9.
We couldn't do it before, but we can do it now. They're open now.
What are you talking about? Who's open?
Car dealers. There's one witness you don't know about, Captain. This guy, Bailey. He saw a white van at the back of the hotel near the fire exit about the time it happened. All he says he saw is a white van. But people sometimes see more than they thought they saw. Maybe if we could jog his memory, he could come up with something more specific. Let me have those 3 extra guys. We'll hit every dealer in town. Get brochures of every type van. Show them to Bailey. We might get lucky.
You got him.
Does Columbo think when he reveals this witness that he's been holding back, they're going to go, "Oh, that's brilliant, Columbo"?
Columbo says, yeah, I always like to keep a little bit for myself. It's like, why did you not tell us about this before?
You know I love the dramatic reveal, Captain.
There's no time for that. You've been told, no histrionics. Listening about this isn't a TV show, Columbo. Information gets passed up the chain of command. Also, I thought it was funny. It's when Andy says his little speech here, and he says, "Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking." I was expecting him to be thinking, "Yeah, she's dead, isn't she?" So when he goes, "Weirdo," you go, "Yeah, that's right. That's what we're thinking. Weirdo." No, I'm actually thinking, yeah, probably sex crime and dead.
Yeah, that was the way it was probably going in my mind.
Yeah. So, yeah, weirdo.
Columbo continues to act erratically now. He runs out the door, runs back in, goes through the photos, then runs out to join the team, and when they're halfway down the road he jumps out the car again and calls a taxi.
Yeah, he grabs a guest list. The guest list when he's back in. And yeah, he jumps out this, he claims he knows where Alex is, and he hails a cab.
I don't think Alex was hiding.
No, Alex in fact said that. We've got to, get this magazine out tomorrow.
Yeah. Anyway.
Quick shot of the kidnapper's house again.
Ah, yeah. Melissa's working on a hinge.
Yep, she's had success with the bottom bolt. Or she's been successful with it.
It's the least suspenseful thing that you can imagine. It's like, yep, she got that. Yep.
I've seen some padding in Columbo, but watching a woman take a bolt out a door, it's like, yep, okay.
She's oiled up her hands as well.
Yeah. So we're in the magazine, or we go to the magazine office.
Columbo arrives and there's a stupid exchange with the receptionist, and eventually he says, "No, I'm not having it."
This really annoys me. And it has annoyed me in the past. And in fairness to Columbo, he doesn't take any nonsense this time. But still, you've got a receptionist here who, there's a homicide cop, produces his ID.
Yeah.
And she still refuses to let the cop in. Seriously.
He's not having it.
No, but who are these people? Like,
I know.
If a homicide detective comes in and says, this is an important, case I'm on here.
Absolutely.
How can I help you? What can I do? Oh, my boss says I'm not to be disturbed. Oh.
Columbo goes into the room where Alex and Ms. Hacker from the magazine are working through the photos. And there's ones that he didn't see the night before that he wants to see now.
Yes.
And they're specific ones.
Which are?
The ones of Alex with Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know why he asks to see these. Does he remember seeing the guy standing behind them?
No, I think he's just thinking that...
On the off chance.
Yeah, these are other photographs that we've not looked at.
And lo and behold, there's the killer right behind them in full view.
Yeah, acting like a killer.
Yeah, looking furtive. Was he in the lift with them when they went in the lift?
Well, no.
He's lurking next to the lift doors. And they were in the lift for a long time.
Maybe that's, 30 minutes.
Maybe that's where his plan came from.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's not wearing a surgical mask either or anything like that. He must have had time to do that.
Columbo takes the picture with him.
Yeah, neither Varick nor Hacker recognise the suspect.
We go to the dealership area. Now there's a brief montage of the different cops picking up different brochures.
It's literally only, 1 week, 2 weeks since we saw Columbo doing the exact same thing.
And
Death Hits the Jackpot, going to all the car dealers talking to them. Or at least to one car dealer in particular in that case.
And we then cut quickly to Melissa, who begins to work on the top bolt.
It's getting dramatic there.
Yeah, it's nearly out. We're in the dark room. I think it's probably of LAPD.
I think we actually go back and see more car lots briefly.
Do we?
And then we go to the dark room where a photo is being developed.
Yep. So it's blown up and it shows the kidnapper wearing a ring from Ramsey College.
Yeah.
He calls the guys in the car to let them know, and we see Melissa move the bolt.
She's making progress. Yeah. Columbo points the team off to Ramsey College while he drives there himself and eats as he goes.
Yes.
Not an egg on this occasion. There's a completely random scene where they meet with the dean of Ramsey College.
Yeah, he says, I'm not hopeful that we can identify this fellow, but all the yearbooks are kept in the library.
Take it 20 years worth of yearbooks.
Yeah. Well, I suppose...
You know what years he might have been.
Yeah, you look at his age, you can work out roughly.
Columbo's at a house.
Bailey's house. Well, Bailey's sister's house.
How does Columbo know he's there?
Do we find that out ever?
Bailey asks him.
Yeah?
I can't remember what he says.
Anyway, the whole point of this is Columbo asks Bailey how he would like to save a life.
Phil, how would you like to save a life?
Yeah. And what if this was a total red herring and Bill says, okay, so did I save a life? Did I save a life? It's like, nah, she died.
Or if Bill's like, nah, I've been working all night.
Yeah. Whose life?
I don't know.
Don't care. That vacuous model? Yeah, not interested. Tabloid garbage.
She'll get what's coming to her. Back in the room, the bolt's off. The door's off.
Well, she's apprehensive about what might be behind this door as she takes it down. she leaves that room and she enters a bedroom that plays the wedding march and has slides of her projected onto the wall in a loop.
That reminded me of R.I.P. Mrs. Columbo.
Yeah, again, I would be screaming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's got out the window.
Yeah.
But she tries. But it only opens 2 inches and the guy's there. So he's obviously been
before
listening
that,
to her.
yeah, but before that, she sees a mannequin wearing a wedding dress.
She does.
She tries to open the window in the bedroom, but the music stops. Yeah, she turns around.
He's there.
Oh.
He tells her she's spoilt everything and he's going to have to bring the wedding forward. Now that annoyed me.
Why?
Because the whole point of his stupid, twisted plan was it had to happen at this exact moment to match up with his mother. And now, we'll just do it now and then I'll kill you anyway.
He's a careless killer.
I think he's
a weirdo.
Not necessarily of sound mind.
You think?
So I don't know if there's that much planning beyond what occurs to him.
No. Did we mention that he's been identified? Well, he's not been identified
Not yet.
as yet. Okay.
We're about to find out that
Yes.
his name is Strasser.
Rudy Strasser. He was played by Daniel MacDonald, who unfortunately died in 2007, aged just 46.
That's a shame.
He had been in Sex and the City, Murder, She Wrote, Law and Order, All My Children, and Freddy's Nightmares. He was Tony nominated in 1997. Back to the library.
The police are going through the yearbooks.
It's actually there's two scenes we cut between.
Yeah, we've got Columbo and Bailey going through the pictures of vans, saying, "Did they look like that? No. Did they look like that? No.
Can't remember.
Look
I
like
don't.
that.
I don't know. Why you ask? It's a hostage, a kidnapping. Not a hostage. It's a kidnapping scenario here. This woman might be murdered. Oh, I need to look at these pictures.
Yeah. And then, as the police come to the final possible yearbook, there he is.
Yes.
But his hair's different. And he's found him.
Rudy Strasser, as we mentioned, he was a pre-med student voted most likely to dissect a friend. Oh no.
Oh, that's ominous. If everything else wasn't already ominous.
So they have some success there, and at just about the same time, there's a breakthrough with Bill.
I don't understand why Columbo's brochures from the car dealers had a picture of an ambulance in them.
No, and exactly. These are specialist things. You know, you don't have a.
You can just buy one off the shelf.
No. And Columbo has to do the reveal as well. Could that be it? Yeah. Look what this is. It's an ambulance. Brilliant, Columbo.
But the one that he found was actually like Animal Patrol or something.
I think at this point, Bill's just going, I'm knackered. I'm just going to tell him anything.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah,
one of them.
Was that it? Definitely, yeah. Can I go back to my bed now, please?
Are all
I saved her.
Are all ambulances the same? I mean, can you really say was that?
Yeah, Bill doesn't care at this point. He just wants him out.
No. Back at the murder house, Rudy is trying to sharpen things up for Melissa.
Oh, he's sharpening up the scalpel and his white suit that he's wearing, this ridiculous...
and her hair as well.
Yeah. So he's encouraging her to get ready with a scalpel.
But he's waving this scalpel in I think he's trying to be threatening, but he comes across looking absurd.
Scarily absurd, especially when... What does he do next?
Well, he tries on this lipstick and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't go with his outfit.
No, it doesn't suit him. I would go for more of a plum in his case.
No.
No. What would you use?
I don't think he needed lipstick. I think he was fine without it.
Oh, everyone needs a little bit of lipstick, or could do with it.
Anyway, he gives the lipstick to Melissa to try.
Yeah, but that's the point I'd been most scared. It's like, okay, he's got a scalpel, he's a maniac, he wants to marry me, he wants to consummate the marriage. Oh no, now he's putting on lipstick. This guy's a weirdo. You talk about consummating the marriage. This was his line. He says that her first marriage wasn't consummated, therefore it doesn't count. Anyway, we're back at LAPD and the guys are working the phones. Yes, they are trying to find out where Strasser may be, so they're phoning up different hospitals and things like that, aren't they? Yeah, well, yeah, they're assuming that he's qualified as a doctor, so they're phoning all the hospitals. And meanwhile, we go back and we see Melissa in a wedding dress and he's trying to put a veil on her and he's hinting at killing her again. Yeah. He still hasn't quite said it explicitly. And we flip back to LAPD and Columbo's got him. He's found where he was. He's been fired that morning as an ambulance driver for stealing an ambulance the night before. It's nonsense, isn't it? Really, it's not the best plan, is it? No, that's what I'm saying. This episode, you think this is worth repeat viewing? It's the fact that he went into work to get fired because he told us that earlier. Yeah, the guy's an idiot. Anyway, Columbo gets the address where he lives, and at this point he's making his threat explicit. He's going to kill her at
the appointed moment.
Yep, after he has his evil way with her.
He wants her to swap her wedding ring off for the one that his mother wore.
Yeah, she's reluctant at first, but he waggles the old scalpel in front of her. And
She seems to have this morbid fear of scalpels.
I'm not sure how morbid it is. A maniac
But
wearing
all he has to do
lipsticks.
is wave a scalpel and she does anything he wants.
Yeah, to be honest, I would. In that case with him.
I'd just take it off him.
If I was her. Yeah, I don't know.
He's unlikely to have the chance to deal a mortal wound if you can overpower him.
Yeah, he's not the biggest of guys, is he? He's not the most
No.
intimidating of guys. I reckon she could probably... Yeah.
And scalpels aren't designed for killing.
Oh, yeah, but you could.
Yeah, you could, but you have to be very fortunate or very skilled.
Yeah, but she's not just thinking, I might be slashed to bits in the face, but at least I won't die.
Yeah, maybe put my eye out or something. Anyway, the squad is rallying to the address. The wedding march plays and they thunder down the highway.
Yeah.
Columbo's worried.
Yeah. Well, before that, Straza tries to get Melissa to recite her part of the vows, but she refuses.
Yeah, well, Columbo expresses initial concern, and then we go to this scene in the room where she refuses to go along with saying the vows, and he threatens to cut her.
Mm-hmm.
Puts his mother's ring on her and forces himself on her with a kiss.
Yep.
She cries, and we go back to Columbo, who's going to expand on his concern.
Get there out of sight, surround the place, cover doors, windows, roofs, stairwells, every damn thing. Then bam, hit them all at once. Freezes the bastards in their tracks every time.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I seen that work, and I see people get hurt. This might be a bit different, it being Melissa, cop's wife, Andy's wife.
You telling me my job, Columbo?
No way, Captain, no, sir. But when you know so many guys in uniform, and 3 of them are young guys who haven't been on the force 6 months, someone might, accidentally give it away.
Get to it.
How about an extra 5-10 minutes before you bring in the main force? You hold them in reserve. You've been on this so long, a few extra moments doesn't cost much. How about it, Captain? As a favor to Andy.
You're breaking my heart. Okay, cut the sirens.
I like that little performance by Falk there.
Yeah, and the captain's heartbroken at not getting to go in guns blazing.
Although, it doesn't really tie in with what actually happens. They do all sort of... They jump through windows and things like that.
But they sneak up to the outside and they come somersaulting through the
Yeah.
The only way that scene would have been better is if Columbo had somersaulted through the window.
I would have loved that. Yeah.
That would have been
And Columbo
the
shoved
number
it-
one Columbo moment for
Yeah,
me.
he rolls in and takes him down with the
Sniper
gun. Yeah.
rifle, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, as they surround the place, we see Straza in bed with Melissa, and he's taunting her with this knife.
Well, the dress is back in the stand and she seems to have a cut either on her ear or the side of her face or cheek maybe. But the team are moving in.
Mm-hmm. Andy and Mulroney break in through they break through the doors.
Yeah.
And at this point, Melissa jumps out of the bed screaming, and Straza sort of slashes at her.
Yeah, lunges at her with the scalpel and Andy shoots him.
Several times.
Make sure he's definitely dead.
Oh, you have to be.
Columbo doesn't look too impressed with that.
No, we see him walking in, and for the first time, really, well, the first time we see him carrying a gun.
Yeah, well, obviously I think they all had them in this motion.
Yeah. We saw him fire a gun in playback into the sand, if you remember.
Yes.
But that was only for, obviously, experimental purposes.
Yeah, but he's not investigating his usual type of case here. This is not a murder case. This is a live hostage kidnap situation, so it's very different.
Yeah, but the way he holds it, he's no intention of using it, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I still think he should have been the one somersaulting. Was it the window in the murder room that the guy came in through?
I don't know. How
The
would they know
bedroom
where,
had a shutter on it.
yeah, how would they know where it was? He just jumped, he just
He
randomly jumping through.
realised it was the neighbour's house.
Imagine if they got it wrong. It's like in Silence of the Lambs, that happens. There's a false reveal.
Right.
When they go to the wrong house, and you think as a viewer that they're
Yes,
going to the
in
right house.
meantime.
Yeah, so that'd have been fantastic if they let this wee guy Mulroney jumps through a window. There's an old couple there sitting playing dominoes.
He shoots them. That wouldn't be that funny.
No.
We do get a caption now to give us the time. It's 12:37 p.m, so it's taking Columbo 12 hours and 35 minutes or so to solve this crime.
Yeah.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I quite enjoyed this.
No.
It's a good dramatic finish.
You wouldn't watch this again, surely.
I would. I enjoyed it.
Really?
I thought it was a lot of fun to see Columbo out of his element a wee bit, doing something different.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. I'm glad you. There's very few people who do enjoy this.
They could have made this a lot worse if they'd had him assigned to this case.
If Patrick
That would
McGowan
have
had
been
directed it.
Yeah, the other good thing I like, the other police proved to be competent. It wasn't just Columbo who could solve the case. The other guys found the guy. They got the lead on Wagner.
They shot him dead.
They did the actual saving at the end. So it wasn't just Columbo. And he was unprofessional, but he also was very professional in other aspects of it. The approach. A lot of it was done, very systematically.
A lot of diligence. He didn't cut corners.
Yep. So overall, I would call this a above par.
Oh, I mean, I'll be generous and go with par. It's not dreadful, but I couldn't go above par.
It's a solid 7 out of 10 for me.
Well, listen, I said I'm delighted for you that you enjoy it.
But you're not watching it again?
Not unless I have to. Not unless we do a Columbo podcast
2.0.
In 10 years' time, we'll revise it and see if we'll go back and see if our opinions
Let's
have
not
changed.
commit to that.
No, we won't. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of the case. So that last scene was the only time Columbo and the culprit were in the same room. Although, in a sense, Andy was the only killer in this episode, and his relationship with Columbo was the entire crux of the matter.
Well, that's a good spin you've put in there. But you picked up on that Columbo. Another reason why Columbo traditional Columbo fans don't like it. Columbo didn't even have not one line of dialogue with the potential. Well, it wasn't even a killer. So
Villain,
yeah.
We can try the episode review, see how it works out. Get trivia first, though.
Well, yeah, trivia and production information. Let's go through that first. 1992 at 87 minutes in length. Alan J. Levy was the director. His third and final Columbo after Uneasy and Rockstar.
Yeah, but he's also the producer, so I think he's around the show generally. I wonder if he just steps in when they don't have another director.
Could be. The writer, this is interesting. Most people will be aware of this, no doubt. So it was written by Evan Hunter as Ed McBain, who himself was born Salvatore Lambino, who died in 2005, aged 78. So Ed McBain and Evan Hunter, he's got two different sort of nom de plumes.
So it's a pseudonym of a pseudonym?
Yes. Well, no, it actually writes under about 8 different names.
So this McBain, is that where the character in The Simpsons gets its name from?
Not sure, it might be. Well, McBain, but he's an author, so he's not really
Yeah.
But the name Evan Hunter came from Evander Child's High School and Hunter College, where he studied. So that's where that name came from. He wrote The Birds, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, and The Blackboard Jungle. He wrote the novel for that. He's a screenwriter and a novelist, very successful. He also wrote some of the original Mike Hammer episodes.
There you go. That's a tie-in with Publisher Perish.
Yes. He was massive in the police procedural genre. So, Ed McBain books, he wrote a series called the 87th Precinct. There's 50 odd books, I think about 55 books he wrote. From 1956 to 2005 that serial stretched. It's quite incredible. Several were made into TV, movies and movies. And it was known, that's how it was described, Ed McBain's 87th Precinct. It had his name on there, like Agatha Christie's Marple.
Yeah.
That's how famous it was, and that's how much of a brand it was.
Okay.
He won several Edgar Awards, which are quite prestigious in the genre. And this episode was based on one of his books.
Okay.
So this was a book written in 1976 called So Long As You Both Shall Live.
Suppose given the reception they won't make that mistake again.
No. They do. So rather than writing a new screenplay...
Adapted it. I take it Columbo's not in the book.
No. So that's why it doesn't fit and doesn't feel like a Columbo, because it's not. It's a 87th Precinct Ed McBain story. They've just forced Columbo into it.
I wouldn't say they forced, I think they adapted it quite nicely. There's no chimpanzees either, so I can't help with trivia this week.
Any progress with that?
Yeah, I got an email back saying they don't have any records of dates for chimpanzee actors.
I saw that email. It was effectively, they said, go away. Stop asking me questions.
We've answered one of your emails.
Yeah.
Stop talking to us now.
Right, episode review.
Okay.
Motive.
Well, he was trying to recreate his mother's death and his father's death with someone he was obsessed with.
Yeah, weirdo. Alibi. He had no alibi.
He didn't try to give an alibi.
Clues. Ring ambulance.
Yeah. They don't even find out why he did it or anything like that.
Well, you explained that.
Yeah, but they don't find out. Columbo doesn't find out.
All right, yeah. I suppose they will after she tells them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's the bullet to the face.
That's it. Yeah. See, this sums up why it's not a good Columbo.
It's not really a typical Columbo episode, but I just thought it was fun to see Columbo doing something a bit different. Yeah. And I can understand if you've been waiting 6 months for this, you might not appreciate it the same way.
Next week.
What are we doing?
A Bird in the Hand.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I don't have anything witty to say about that title. But
Okay, here's one. Perhaps it will star Val Avery.
I should have left it if not have anything to say. It's appalling. People.
Let's wrap this up.
Join us at columbopodcast.com. Chat about this episode or any of the previous episodes or anything else that comes to mind. We can find you, or you can find us more appropriately, on Twitter, on Facebook. We're at Columbo Podcast on Twitter, and if you search Columbo Podcast on Facebook, you will find us there as well. We love to hear from you guys. Reviews on iTunes, rate, subscribe. It helps more folk find the show, which is rewarding for us, and it's great for them as well. So, do a bit of public service and help out in that way. And we'll see you next week. Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Columbo Podcast from Heard Yet Media.